Allie from Honeymooners is coming in with us. Get on in here, girl. So, what do you do? Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, I'm Allie from Honeymooners. I organise vintage clothing and vintage and second-hand clothing markets. Couldn't get it out.
That's okay. Yeah. No, it happens.
It happens best of us here.
Mm-hmm.
We do sometimes live music events, what we used to, but not as much anymore.
They were really fun. So how did you become you? When did you start the Honeymooners?
2 years ago.
Yep. How did it all happen?
I was like, well, I have a shit load of clothes.
Like, I need to get rid of some shit.
Yeah. And I was like, well, how do you go about it? Because I wasn't really familiar with donating clothes.
Yeah.
So I was like,
help.
Yeah. Anyway, I had like a friend that used to dance with me and was like, oh, like she did it on Instagram, like just selling clothes, and you could bid in the comments to buy the clothes. And I mean, it wasn't like $5 million. It was like $12.
Yeah,
it was like fun, and it's kind of a fun process to go through that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was like, well, I can do that. So I did.
Sick.
And I pitched the idea to my best mate at the time, and she was like, hell yeah. So we did, and we took the little photos and we put it up, and I got like the name Honeymooners, and I had painted all like red love hearts.
How did you find Honeymooners the name? I'm curious. I've always been curious.
So there was this like chick on Tumblr, because I was like a huge Tumblr.
Yeah.
Person.
We all were.
Yes, it was like the
From
thing.
This generation.
Sorry, everyone else. Anyway, I was like, saw her little like campaign she was gonna do, and it was like the honeymoon phase, and she never did it. I don't know why.
Yep.
I think she got a job in something else, and Tumblr just
didn't end up.
You know how like people like really famous like influencers like are just there and then they aren't.
Yeah.
It was like that, and I was like, oh my god, 'cause she was just like so cool, and she never did it, and that name just kind of stuck with me, and I was like, I have to do something with that. One day.
Well, if nothing's happening with it, do something with it. And
so
you
I did Honeymooners, and like, what bad thing do you think about a honeymoon?
Yeah, totally. No, true. It's like the best part of that.
Everything. Like, it's like what you like get married for.
Yeah.
It's not because you love someone. Like,
I just want the honeymoon, please.
Yeah, legit.
I just want to have a good time. And then, how do you take your inspiration from all of us wonderful people and turn it into what you do?
I like see random things from all different places, and I see these other like amazing community events, and I'm like, well, I want to bring together a community, and I see these amazing people, and I want to include them as well. So making something that does all that, like the art exhibition and the markets, because you still get to sell some of your merch.
Yeah.
You get to sing and sell secondhand vintage clothes instead of donating them, and most of the time ending in landfills. So
yeah, totally. Yeah.
I think that's it.
In what you do, what would you say that your biggest achievement is?
Oh my god. I'd probably say something along the lines of like creating a following of some description, and like having people actually come to events, because when you like that happens and you're standing there and you're like looking around, you're like, oh, there's actual people here. It's like this. It's like when you invite people to your birthday party, and then people actually come, and you're like, oh my god.
And this is sick.
I did that.
Party too. Yeah, it's sick. And
it's like.
And you did that many times too. There were so many cool events and still upcoming events, which is sick. What upcoming events do you have?
7th of November.
Get there.
Secondhand vintage artisan market at Maroochydore.
Nice, very nice. Whereabouts in Maroochydore?
Just near Sugar Road.
Nice.
It's at Intrafloat Yoga Studio.
There we go. Get there.
We find out details on our Instagram. I don't know the answer. I'm so good at this.
Don't worry, same. What are you looking to achieve? What are your goals? What are your dreams, aspirations?
Continue down this.
Keep
and
doing.
Building it, and like building like this huge sense of community. Because when you first like finish school, you're like, oh, what do you do? Yeah. You just like go into a job. How do you find a community? How do you find new friends?
Yeah.
How do you continue to evolve without, you don't have your school friends kind of anymore. You need to keep continuing. Yeah. And having like events that cater to that, more community based.
Absolutely.
Is kind of like the aspiration of it all.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And seeing like people coming together, it's just like,
It's the best.
yeah, and I think I would never wish for anything more in life than just continuing that.
Beautiful. That's so amazing. We'll keep on keeping on, please. Well, I think everyone would rather a unique piece that probably will last 12,000 times longer than this shitty piece of fastly, quickly made chiffon, whatever the hell it is. And I think we can all do much better with that.
Yes, and it's like a history behind it as well, and there's so much more value in secondhand clothing.
Have you struggled to stick with that? Like, have you struggled to stick with
Surprisingly,
those values?
the only thing fast fashion in the last, say, year I bought is socks, because I couldn't find cute socks that I liked. By that, like a 2-day period, I had to have socks to wear them. So I had to like go out and buy them. And then obviously like work clothes.
Yeah.
No, there's no sustainable, ethically minded brands that supply work cargo pants for women.
Yeah.
Which sucks, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, we could definitely be on the path there.
Yeah.
We'd all like to hope so. And I think we definitely are.
It just takes a while.
Yeah, totally. Well, there's someone who's probably already got the idea. It's just like in the
Getting
making.
there.
Yeah. How do you do it? It's not not as easy, but it's much better.
It's slow fashion if you want to buy new.
Slow it down, bitchachos. Do you have any fears in what you're doing with slowing down fast fashion?
I thought it was a fear, but with...
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge. With not like having fast fashion industry, like obviously the jobs in Bangladesh and China and all that will go down.
Yeah.
But that being said, I went and researched it. Is this really good?
Yeah.
And what happens when we stop consuming as a capitalist society? And it was like, well, actually, if we're more inward focused on locals, we build up our economy here. It just takes a while. And we build the infrastructure.
Yes.
And support it. And I mean, bringing money back into our just like locals.
Which is what we should be doing right now, especially. We should always be doing that, but right now especially.
Yes.
Yeah.
Will help
super
it.
Important.
And those people over there, like in Bangladesh, you know, in the sweatshops, in horrific conditions, they will be able to get their workers' rights, and the conditions can change.
Yeah.
From then on out.
Totally, when they're not doing, like, having to make that much at a certain amount of time and, you know, literally just
and
a factory,
buildings,
but humans, you know.
Yeah,
like,
and the buildings don't even go to code, and they collapse.
Oh, shit.
I don't know if you've heard about that.
Yeah, I've heard a bit of,
So it's like, well, if we start more inward focusing, because there's always going to be people buying fast fashion. It's always going to be a thing.
Yes,
but
unfortunately.
if less people are buying it, more slow fashion brands step up.
Totally.
Then people can get paid more, and then that sets the benchmark, and, you know, workers' rallies and all that can happen.
Totally.
Yeah.
Don't buy from the plaza. Cut that out.
Just check your brand.
We'll be sued. What would you say that your worst attribute is?
Oh my god, too many. Probably like the trusting people. Yeah, the trusting people thing, because that like affects me in like like everyday life as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and being like too hard on yourself. I feel like that's pretty standard. Everyone's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, especially during these times, it seems to, everyone's gotten a little bit harsher on themselves.
Yeah,
all the
spending
time,
too much time in your head at the moment. It's just like,
which is kind of unavoidable, but and maybe also needed as well. You gotta face that shit.
Yeah, and it's better to face it full force than not at all.
Then they overcome. And your best attribute?
Oh, probably like organizational skills.
Oh, that's so good. That's something I do not have.
Like I can help. Once I can like organize something and plan it out, it's like
it's done. It's happening.
It's done.
Yep.
It's good. I mean, it can be really annoying. Like my lists and
but you get it done right though.
Yeah. It's just like counting to every dollar, like insane.
Yeah.
It's like highly annoying to anyone else, but to me, I'm like, I know what's happening.
Bring it in.
Yeah.
How important is the Sunshine Coast to you, and why?
Oh, it's pretty important. It's such like a sense of community here. Like my hometown in Redcliffe was never like that.
Yeah.
But here it's like, oh, someone will be like, oh my god, you know Sam? And then they'll be like, oh yeah, I know FatDog. And then they'll be like, oh my god, yes. And then it just like continues.
Yeah, it just keeps going like that. Yep.
And like everyone like will rock up to events, and it's always the same people.
Yeah.
And they're just
it's
like,
our weird little family. That's really nice.
yeah, and it's so like
Anyone's
wholesome.
welcome in our weird little family.
Come
just
join
that
us.
way.
But yeah, you like rock up to an event, and there's just people who are always there.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't happen in like say Brisbane or something.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
Just,
yeah.
it's just too like.
It'd be a coincidence if you bumped
Yeah.
into the same person. Like, oh, here
Whereas,
it's you meet one person one weekend, the next weekend you're like, oh, hey, it's
Yeah,
you again.
And you go to a party, and you just see heaps of people like, oh my god, I didn't even know you knew this person. And it's just like such a spider web, and it's so important to locals for it to be like that. And it keeps it so cool, like the art exhibitions that happen here. I like it so much better than the city.
Yeah.
Off the record. Someone's gonna come find us and kill us soon.
Yeah. No, that's why we're on the Sunshine Coast, though, I think, a lot of us, because we don't like the city,
No.
the craziness of the city, but we have the perfect balance of the little small town. We were talking about this before in a different interview, but like the love of the small town versus the city and putting both together.
Yes. That's so good. It's the perfect balance.
So for the future of the Sunny Coast, what would you like to see?
Buying less fast fashion, buying more sustainably minded brands of all like descriptions.
Yeah.
No matter where you're going, like looking for anything. Like
Oh, there's so many different things.
yeah, buying from family businesses versus huge corporations. The 5 R's: reduce, reuse, refuse, repair, and recycle.
Absolutely.
Yeah, buying less, because I feel like now that we've realised what we're buying isn't actually that great,
Yeah.
and the quality isn't that great, buying less but of better quality.
Yeah.
You know,
yes.
stepping in, supporting your young local artists of all kind. Yeah, that's about it though. I think if we did that, we would be like this little
Which
utopia.
is pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting there, I think.
Definitely.
We're definitely, yeah, every conversation that we've had is just like the previous interviews have all led and been based around that same sort of idea of bringing that community together and bringing our wonderful, weird, creative, and amazing minds together and take from what we have. Like, we already have so much. Why don't we turn around and actually look at what we have and make something of it?
Yes.
So that's exactly what that's about, and I love that.
Hell yeah.
How would you like to feel or think on your last day on Earth?
Oh my god. I probably just like in peace. Just like quiet.
Yeah,
peace.
rest in peace. That's fair.
Everyone else probably like, yeah, so like, you know, just like all this stuff. Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, peace, like just simple, like that'd be nice. Just retirement.
Stuff. I just want peace. Amazing. Do you have a message for the community to spread out?
Like I said before, the 5 R's. Come to the market.
Say it again. Say it again.
Oh my god, okay. Reduce, reuse, recycle, refuse, and repair.
Bitch.